Hello, welcome to No Guy Bicycles, hanging out with a guy. Hi, I'm Justin the guy. Hopefully this is working. I'm trying a different device for this live thing, so here we go. Without further ado, let's dive into it. The topic of this one is when to buy new or used. Basically, in the cycling world, I'm specifically going to talk about used road bikes in this particular topic. I will probably branch out and do other ones and kind of give you insights and help with the journey of getting into cycling or getting into a different type of cycling. If you're an avid cyclist, like let's say you're a mountain biker and like looking into getting a road bike because your buddies do road riding, or you found a group or whatever, you moved, whatever the story may be, you may be looking for something that gets you into that new realm. So anyway, that's what I'm trying to shoot for. So anyway, saying anyway a lot. Anyway, if you've been watching my channel, you kind of know a little bit about me. I've been in the industry for 30 years. My parents and I had a shop in Parker, Colorado in the 90s. Worked at Lee Cyclery in Fort Collins in the 2000s and the teens. Last 6 years I've been in software, but had to get my hands dirty. So I started just refurbishing road bikes out of my home and essentially turned my garage into a business bike shop in the sense of refurbishing road bikes. So what I do is I refurbish road bikes, strip them down to the frame, rebuild them, replace any parts that I replace. If I sell them locally, I have a little fit area that I fit you to them. So I try to take the scary out of use. That's the whole idea, the concept, my mission in the sense of taking scary out of use, getting people into cycling that I've been a part of, a passion that I've loved for all these years. So going into, I wrote some stuff down this time, so winging it off the fly. What we're looking at is when to buy used instead of new. Well, there's benefits to new and there's benefit to used. Both are scary in a way, but I just want to go over, some first things. The number one is price. The price is really a huge conscientious portion of it. So we'll get into that in just a second here. But I wanted to read a little tidbit from AI, and I punched in the question. What is the forecast for 2023 and going forward? And if you're watching this in this older video, I apologize, but we're at a cusp. We're at a situation where the market is actually dropping, and it's kind of changing the whole dynamics of cycling into a certain level. We're uncharted waters for a lot of us, and we've been uncharted for the last couple of years. They're expected that 23 is, the global market is projected to be up. The value of 64.2 million for 23, and 4% increase for the cost of goods going up, and they're projected to be increasing sales because of we're healthy people and we want to get into more cycling. That is not the case. What's happening right now, starting in the late fall, we've been having some layoffs. Supply chain is no longer an issue. We have too much products in certain areas. It's not the right products, not the right mix. All those things are just going haywire. Haywire is probably a very light term. It's January right now, and it is completely bizarro, right? It's just like everything's tanking. It's quiet, it's crickets. Big companies are doing everything they can to shake down. Bike shops are doing everything they can do for service and so forth. So that leads to the question, is the time now ready to buy? Well, that's the heart of the, chicken before the road, whatever you want to put analogy to it. Is it right? Is it right for you? Let's just put it that way. Is it right for you to buy it now? Will you have time to ride? Is it something that's, you really want to get into and so forth? And if you can answer a couple of those questions, the time is now. If you're looking for buying real estate, high and low markets and all that, well, actually it is. The time is now to buy. Reason being, it's January, it's slow, bike shops will have some inventory on hand, and most likely it will be discounted and on sale. The used market at this particular juncture, there's still bikes out there that people are listing way too high. They're gonna sit. And it's just basically that. And some of the bike prices have come down, which I purchased some bikes that are a little bit lower than 6 months ago, which is great because that gives me more wiggle room to make a good product, and I can pick out bikes to bring to the market, which it's better. So it's better overall, better on price, better products, better quality, those kinds of things. Those are all great. So yeah, so let's go into the new market. You know, coming down off the COVID, inventory is a lot more, but is it the right inventory? I don't think it is. They had a boom, and this is the sad part. They invested on a lot of more high-end stuff because the high-end stuff was moving really fast, so they put a lot of more inventory in the high-end. What's happened? They don't have any low-end. That's where people price conscientious is going to be looking for. That's going to push a lot of people into the used market. So that's where it goes. Well, that's where yeah. So when you're looking at new, what do you get when you buy new? Let's just start there. When you get new, it's new. It's nice and fuzzy. You know, you get to pick the color sometimes. You get the right size. There's multiple ones. You don't have to do it like on the fly. I had to drink some coffee. I don't know if it's appropriate now. Anyway, so yeah, being in a bike shop, selling new bikes for decades, yes, there's benefits. Definitely there's a benefit. Well, you get warranties. Lifetime warranty on a lot of bikes are on the frame, fork. Then you get it like a year or two on the componentry. Any kind of recalls and those kinds of things, you're notified. You get those kind of, warm hug in that perspective. A lot of the shops, they still provide a service package that includes with the purchase of a bike. So it'll get you going for the first year or so, which is great too. That is a value. And on top of that, and some bikes still do fits as a general fit, not the expensive $300, $400 fit, just a general fitting on there. So you get the seat the right height and bars and all that. So you're best out of the gate, to enjoy riding. So yes, there is a value to that. And a lot of the mountain bikes and a lot of the hybrids, they still have those. But what's happened with the price points on those, and road bike specific, and has trickled into the other kinds of riding, is the prices have kind of bumped up and they've been staying the same for the last 5 or 10 years. So entry level, $1,000 to $1,500 just to get into road riding. That's still pretty high. Well, right now, that $1,500 bike is getting you the bottom of the line componentry with a bottom line frame. My business model, I try to sell a majority of my bikes under $1,000. And what I'm providing is a good solid used road bike that might be full carbon and maybe have one step down for the top of line componentry like Shimano Ultegra, which was maybe a $4,000, $5,000 bike back in the day. Might be a little bit older, but it's kind of like that refurbished Porsche in a sense. It's not apples to apples unless. So that's what I'm providing. But if you're in a market that you're looking for a used bike and you don't find something that I'm providing, and you're in your situation or any other bike, and you're like, okay, there's going to be a cost when you buy a used bike, and that's what I'm trying to bring out with all these different videos and so forth. Is like there's different people or different prices and different bikes, and when you buy a used bike, you might, or actually you will need to just assume that you're going to have to pay $200 to $300 to get it going. If it is less, that's great, but have that money reserved, because first you want to have it probably tuned, make sure it's dialed or safety and a couple things working on it. Because majority of the bikes I picked up, about 80 to 90% of them are not safe to ride in the used market. So you want to make sure it's safe. That's the bottom line. You want to get it going safe. So invest into it. And there's going to be a couple other things like maybe a saddle, some things to go with the bike, a patch kit, a tube, a tire, a pump, those kinds of things that need to go with just in a general riding experience. Helmet, gloves, cycling shorts. But on the bike itself, you may need new bar tape, a new saddle, pedals, bottle cages, and may need new tires. And then you get into the meat of it. It's like, well, I might need a new chain or cassette. It may have a bad hub, the front wheel might be bad, you know, those kinds of things. You know, I have a top 20 list to check those things and help you at least know what you have when you look at it and what might need to be worked on, which will get you closer to that price point you're trying to stick with. So let's say I want to get on road riding and I have $1,000 to spend. I don't have 1,500. I can't do that. 1,000 all in, that's it. Well, what you're looking for, the price point of the bike itself, try to get to 600, like 700 tops. 600 to be sweet spot, because that gives you a couple hundred to put into the bike and maybe another 100 for the accessories and car rack and stuff like that. That's going to be needed, you know, at some point. So you might as well have that in the circumference. And quite honestly, you can get a good $600, even a $500 road bike. That's going to do you just fine, right? But fit is the biggest thing. Make sure, do your research, look into the frame of that manufacturer, that person selling on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or Pink Bike or whatever you're looking at, and figure out what size that does fit. Does it fit you? Okay, if it fits you, boom, ready to go. Next step, field some questions. One, are you the original owner? Second, if not, how long have you owned it? How much service have you put into it? Get a feel for it. Do you know what size it is? For sure. Sometimes there's stickers. That's usually the golden ticket. But you know, it's one of those things. Fill those questions, and yes, you can. The work you put into it's going to save you money on the back end, because I don't know how many times I've bought bikes from people that they purchased their bike and it was the wrong size for them. They ended up getting another bike, or they didn't get into cycling at all, unfortunately, because it was a bad experience, yada yada. We want to get you on the best foot forward into cycling. That's my purpose and goal of doing this, is trying to get you out there and going. So ask those questions. Is it the right price point? Is it carbon, aluminum? Is it something I'm going to enjoy doing? Is this, you know, sometimes you get lucky, you know, sometimes there is that bike that's like, you know, it doesn't need anything. That's about 2%, but that still doesn't address fit. And everybody's built differently, so you might have to change out a stem or a saddle or whatever. Still going to be a little added cost to it. But, you know, it's one of those things. You can really make bank on used. And with road bike specific, not a lot has changed in the last 20 years. So if it's a 15-year, even a 20-year-old bike, it's still going to probably be okay. Reason being is, yeah, they've added some newer things like electronic shifting and electric assist and some nice higher end things, but those are still really expensive. If you want any of those things, you're still spending 10 grand, 8 grand, 7 grand, getting into that level. Not for the entry level. You're looking at that, you look at the cheapest bike they have is a 1,500 or even if they did have a $1,000 bike, it's still, you can buy a used one that has a lighter weight frame, better componentry, and nicer wheels right out of the gate, and be almost a third to half less of new. It's going to perform better. You're going to have maybe a better experience. You enjoy riding more, all those things. So that's where used can really get you there for sure. So yeah, if you have the 3 grand, you want to buy new, you can justify it. That's great. Go for it. Buy those bikes. Go to your bike shop. Vet that shop that you find that you mesh well with. If you can't, used might be a good direction to go. But still, have a relationship with a bike shop that does tune-ups, and they will help you with that journey too. As a service manager for years as well, I was more than happy to help. I liked people getting into cycling. And sometimes it really didn't matter if they bought the bike from us or, you know what, they couldn't afford it, they got something less expensive and used. And hey, you get a chance, check out what I have. I might have something that might fit you, that kind of thing. And I do get bikes in all the time and refurbish them. I'm not a high volume, I'm a one guy shop. And, you know, I only can do so much in a month. So, and balance life and everything else. But yeah, hopefully I'm providing enough information out there that people can go out and get stuff in their own markets if need be, and go from there. Well, thank you for spending some time with me. I hope this was knowledgeable and some insights. Please leave some comments if you have questions or anything. I'll try to address those, or maybe another video of it, of that kind of thing. I'm really enjoying doing this. This is just an extension of what I like doing already. So, hey, let's keep it going, right? Well, thank you for spending time with me, and you take care.